Hey guys, what is up? I decided I wanted to make a video where I took some of my recent fights and tried to showcase some of the things that I've learned lately that I think have helped me improve as a player. And I think most of these fights are actually spear fights, but most of the things that I'm going to talk about are actually applicable to any type of fight. They're not necessarily spear related. This first fight that I'm actually showcasing here, one of the players here is by the name of God Warrior. He is a regular fixture in the spear scene. He often puts his white sign down. And one of the big challenges here is knowing when to try to run a phantom down and when to let them back off. And you can see here, God Warrior is being pretty smart. He's rolling around the host, which means I'm taking damage from the host as I try to pursue him. So I decided to break off the chase. But I know I need to take the Phantom out before I take out the host just because of the difference in the Estus reserves they both have. So right now I'm kind of poking around, trying to find weaknesses. Obviously he's using a great club, but he's being reasonably cautious about how he swings it, especially now that I've backstabbed him once. But here in a minute, he's not going to be as cautious as he should. So you notice my roll there was late, so I figure he may have queued an extra R1 rather than hit confirming the first. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And so I was actually already sprinting toward his back, assuming the other R1 was coming, and had it not, I would have abandoned the chase. And my first charged R1, the timing was wrong, so I course corrected, and I was able to land the second one. It's actually amazing. The cell swords have been insanely popular lately. Like, I would say probably 70% of hosts that I run into these days have the cell swords. And as recently as like maybe 2 months ago, it was probably something like 10%. And I run into a lot of like hyper mode builds where they got the shield ring and they're just optimized for shit tons of damage. So I really have to respect these things and be careful. One thing I've gotten a lot better about is mixing offense and defense, being able to aggressively space at my opponents and at the same time be ready to react to their attacks and roll out, but if they don't attack, be willing to attack them. So this fight here, the Sunbro is an overleveled mage, and this is actually my second fight against them, and I know he just does a shit ton of damage with those dark spells, so I'm really doing my best to avoid them. You saw me run off to the first pillar there in the very beginning, and I threw out the spear fragment to keep them from flanking me. And there, the pivot was unfortunately a little sloppy, and I didn't get back there quite quickly enough, but had that been a bit tighter, I probably would have landed that. And here I'm running to see if he's going to parry. The Sunbro makes the mistake of rolling in front of me, actually kind of rolled behind me, and so when I turned around I was directly behind him, so rather than poke him with the S-stock, I went for the straight sword. And here I noticed the host stops attacking after 2 swings. Everybody spams L1 on this, which can only mean that he's out of stamina, so I attack him right out of hit stun, and then I'm able to run him down with the S-stock. So I end up getting another shot at these guys. This is the third fight I had with them. So once again, I run off to the pillar here. I throw out the Divine Spear to keep them from flanking me when I cast Bountiful Light. That's a really helpful strategy. And so something interesting here, I see he's getting ready to attack when I throw my first R1 out. So I'm going to interrupt him. And now, because I've only ever swung twice at either of these guys, I go ahead and mash, and it was a good read because he was getting ready to attack me right out of hit stun. And as is often the case, when somebody goes to attack and you interrupt them, they're much more likely to attack out of hit stun. So that was the perfect opportunity for me to throw out the 4 R1s and just mash. So here I see another Phantom. I see RK Pugs again. He's got tons of poise. He doesn't appear to be over leveled, but because of the way the summoning ranges work, he could be upwards. The host could be upwards of 125, 130, which means that he could be upwards of 150 and not have to be downscaled. And of course, that even ignores the possibility of malfeasance with overleveled summoning. And here's something interesting happens. He did a reasonable job of avoiding my S-stock. Now latency is part of it, but I see he uses a blessing, and I also see that the host has like Great Magic Shield, that is not something that PvEers do. And I don't know why I got knocked out of that backstab. But these guys are obviously experienced PvPers. They're probably gankers just based on their kits and the way that they play. But here I know I've got to run this guy down. He does an interesting mix of like panic rolling and then not getting caught out by my S-Stock, which again is definitely related to latency, but that's not the only thing. He definitely had some idea of what I was doing, and I got kind of frustrated with him there, so I BM'd him a bit with the L1 waggle. So here, because I see the host has got the shield, I know his approach is probably going to be to go around and look for a backstab. So I disengage here, let my stamina regenerate, and then because I know he's playing so aggressively, he's ripe for a pivot. Because he had the confidence in that shield, I knew he wouldn't be looking for that backstab, and obviously I was able to just tank the R1 due to my poise. So this guy's interesting. Right away from his name, it's obvious that he's interested in PvP, and his gear pretty much tells you that as well. The Lothric Knight shield, the Dragon Slayer axe. Now obviously the Dragon Slayer axe at this level isn't nearly the threat that it would be otherwise, or if he had, let's say, Lightning Blade for it. But you can see he's throwing out way too many R1s. He's not hit confirming his attacks. But here he does some nice rolling. He's got his shield up to protect himself, but he's definitely still looking to reaction roll. And here I think probably because of the L1 waggles and also because he was so low at health and having the daggers thrown at him, he ended up panic rolling and I ran him down. But check out round 2. This guy definitely did an interesting job of adapting, and I tried to counter adapt to him. So first of all, he's got the buckler. So now I have to kind of slow it down a little bit and make sure I don't get parried. And here I'm kind of probing his defenses, trying to see how likely he is to parry me. Doesn't attack out of hit stun, probably looking to see if I'm going to parry him. I know the difference between the S-Stock and the rapier. And you can see here now he's being much more cautious. He's only throwing out one R1 at a time. So I take this opportunity then to kind of get in his face. If I see you're gonna roll immediately after you whiff an attack, then I'll just get in your face and wait for you to roll and then punish you. But he realizes what I'm doing and does a really great job of reacting. And here, because he saw me attack out of stun the time before, he actually went for a parry and he almost got it. That was actually pretty close. So that was a really nice job. I was impressed by that. GG, man. So I was in Pinko's stream the other day, and this is my lore build, my still level 46 plus 6 Talia of Lothric, and I was trying to get some co-invasions with him, and I invaded this crew, and this is actually, I think this was the first time that I invaded them. I went on to invade them 2 or 3 more times throughout the course of the stream, and Pinko ended up invading them as well in Central Irithyll. So I think these guys must have had the dried fingers going, and right away I can see what this crew's all about. You can see the overleveled Phantom with the I think it's called the Great Shield of Glory, I think is what it's called, and it has tons and tons and tons of stability, but it does slow your stamina recovery. And you can see the moment I come out here and I'm kind of sorting through my stuff, trying to figure out how I want to deal with these guys, I'm getting tons of emotes, tons of shield waggling, clapping, and very goods. So these guys are just trying to kind of get me salty here, so I come in. And of course, when you have 2 players that are playing passively, they both have shields, they're both looking to flank you. It's an incredibly difficult situation, and because the Phantom's over leveled, that guy's gonna just have stability for days. Like, I am never gonna crack that shield. Really, my only hope is to pressure him and then pressure him some more later before his stamina's had a chance to fully recover. But you can see these guys clearly have an operating model here. This guy stands here, he puts up a wall, and then the host comes in and tries to take advantage of the fact that you're occupied with the Phantom. So here, obviously, I decided to throw on the Night Slayer to try to hopefully put some more pressure on his shield. I'm trying to figure out how I want to approach these guys, because obviously the moment I attack either one, the other one's going to come up and try and flank me. Now, fortunately, the host was a bit of a dumbass, and he switched his here over to like a straight sword, but he did not bother unequipping the other weapon that he had, which I don't think I noticed at this point. So he starts fat rolling. I mean, you can just tell these guys are a couple of Saw Lords. You can see neither of these guys is going to initiate. Here's where I realized the host is fat rolling, so now he's really in trouble. And the Phantom is a bit too slow to realize what's going on, and I'm able to put the host away. And I go looking for a point down in my inventory, but the Sunbro keeps me from getting one off, which is regrettable. So this is a scary matchup for me because he's got the Black Knight Great Axe. He essentially only needs 2 R1 combos to kill me. I am almost sure that that'll be more than enough damage, and I think that might be Power Within, but I'm not completely sure. So the name of the game here is he's going to try to bait trades with me. So fortunately the connection's good enough that I can whiff punish him, but because I can't pressure him as much as I'm used to pressuring people just because the risk of trading is just too high, I can't really get in his face and keep him from estusing, so I have to try to hit him with an Undead Hunter Charm. And there, I thought I had the combo spaced, but I did not. I was wrong by just a little bit, and you can see now he just has to really hit me once more, and then the fight's gonna be over. So I decided I'm gonna try to space him with the spear. You can tell there he looked to trade with me. He's gonna look to do it again, and I see it coming. So I go ahead and roll and hopefully blow through his stamina. And then I buffered the running attack because I was pretty sure he would roll out of hit stun, and I was rewarded with a finish. So I think this fight I kept in because I felt like it really exemplified how I play against multiple opponents, especially when they're both kind of looking to flank you. And it involves a lot of unlocked play and moments of locking on, but then unlocking again as I need to. So it's a constant switch between locked on and unlocked play, moving around, kind of dancing around and trying to be difficult to predict so that I can move in against either opponent without them kind of being aware. And you'll see that after a minute or so of this, they kind of cotton on to what I'm doing and they start to do sort of the same thing to me. But that's okay, I just don't want them both trying to attack me at the same time or kind of rushing me down. Being unlocked, it's so helpful because you can do things like, I was attacking the host with 2 R1s, but at the same time I had the camera on the other Phantom, so when he came up behind, I was able to roll out. Looked for the second R1 there from the Phantom, and fortunately he's really squishy, so now I'm just gonna run him down. It was a good rolling attack, it was really smart, but because of my poise as a spear, I was able to tank that. I'm being a little hesitant here just because I am worried about a parry. Go to kick the shield, nothing there. I'm still able to finish him off. Well guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.